Okay, what we're doing today is parallel and perpendicular lines. It is not difficult except for remembering the parallel slope and the perpendicular slope. We are still doing y equals mx plus b. So everything I taught you previously with finding the equation of the line still applies today. Do we all understand that? Okay? Now, when we are talking about parallel lines, when I say parallel lines, you need to think railroad tracks. Railroad tracks have the same slope, and we are dealing with the same letter. Same slope, same letter, parallel lines. Same slope, same letter. That's what I need your brain to constantly know. Okay? If you see the tilted two lines, that means they're parallel. Okay? Perpendicular is going to be denoted with an upside down T, and that is the opposite letter. So if it was X in the equation, you want Y. If it was Y in the equation, you want X. And then you want the opposite reciprocal. When I say opposite, if it was positive, I want it to be negative. If it was negative, I want it to be positive. If it was 2/3, the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. Yes? So let's talk about some of these. You are going to be asked to give the parallel and the perpendicular slope to every single one of these. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to say parallel means what? Parallel means the same slope. So what is the same slope to 5? 5. What is the perpendicular slope to 5? Well, it's positive 5, so I want it to be negative. And this is 5/1. So what is the reciprocal of 5/1? 1/5. Do we see that? Yes or no? Okay, next. The parallel slope to 2/3 is going to be the same slope, so that is going to be? 2/3. And then I want the opposite of positive to make it negative. And then what is the reciprocal to 2/3? Is going to be 3/2. Yes. Okay, so the next one is going to be a slope of 0. If it's parallel, parallel means the same. And then I need you to think a minute. Put 0/1. The reciprocal of 0 is going to be what? The reciprocal is going to be what? 0/1. So whenever you have 0, nope, I lied. I wrote the wrong thing. It's going to be 1/0. And if you have 1/0, what can you tell me when 0 is in the denominator? It is undefined. Okay? It is undefined. Now, next, what is the same slope to -7/9? And what is the opposite reciprocal for perpendicular? Positive 9/7. Undefined. What is the parallel slope to undefined? Undefined. Very good. Now, when you are undefined, what can you tell me? 0 is in the bottom. Yes? So what is the opposite reciprocal of that? 0 on the top, which means it is 0. Bless you. Okay? And then the last one that we're going to talk about is 10. What is the same slope to 10? And what is the opposite reciprocal? -1/10. Great job, folks. Do we understand that? So parallel, same slope, same letter. Perpendicular, opposite reciprocal, opposite letter. Now, why am I talking about that? How many times have I told you guys this slope pick is super important? That was the thing that I told you guys to write on your test as soon as you got it for the last test. Not a lot of you did that. And because not a lot of you did that, you struggled tremendously with this. This has to be the very first thing that you have in your head. Why? Because on here, it talks about the slopes being positive, negative, 0, and undefined. Those are special lines. Yes? When you have a slope of 0, that means there is no slant to it, and it is built on level ground, and it is on the horizontal line. Yes, it's a horizontal line. When you have an undefined slope, that means you are on the cliff. Yes? You are on the cliff. Okay? Now, we're talking today about parallel and perpendicular lines. If we're talking about parallel and perpendicular lines, what is parallel to a horizontal line? Another horizontal line. How many letters are in the equation for a horizontal line? Well, this is actually just going to be y equals a number, yes? So if it's just y equals, that's why parallel is the same letter. What is perpendicular to a horizontal line? A vertical line. So perpendicular is the opposite of y, which means it's x. Do we understand that? This picture is crucial for you to be able to do parallel and perpendicular. Yes? Example. Given the equation 2x plus 7 is equal to 0. As soon as you see that, you should want to solve for the letter that's in there. What letter is in that equation? X. So how do I solve for x? So I have 2x is equal to negative 7. Then what? Divide by 2. So x is equal to negative 7 over 2. Now, I need your brain to think. When x is equal to a number, what does that line look like? It is a vertical line. So if I graph this thing, I am graphing x is equal to negative 7 over 2. Yes? Now, my question tells me to find the parallel line of x equals negative 7 over 2. What is parallel to a vertical line? Another vertical line. Parallel means same slope, same letter. So this has the letter being x, so my equation has to be the letter x. And what is my x coordinate in that ordered pair? So x is equal to negative 5, which puts me clear over here. Does that make sense? Same letter, same letter. Parallel means same letter, same slope. Yes? Go down here to the bottom one. Now, I still have my vertical line, and it's still right here. Yes? Now, what do my directions ask for here? Perpendicular. What is perpendicular to a vertical line? A horizontal line. What are the equations looking like as a horizontal line? It is y equals. So this is going to be y equals, and what does y equal in this ordered pair? It is equal to 8. Meaning, if I graph my horizontal line, it is right here, and do those make a 90-degree perpendicular angle there? Yes, they do. Does that make sense? Again, next problem. What do we do in this problem? What do you notice whenever you look at this right here? What letters are in there? Y. Only y. So what we're going to do is we're going to solve that for y. So if we solve that for y, I'm going to subtract 5y from both sides. And that's going to give me 2 is equal to a 3y. Now what? Divide by 3. And you have 2/3 is equal to y. What type of a line is y equals a number? A horizontal line. So that means this is my horizontal line. Now part A. Part A says to find the parallel line. Parallel is same slope, same letter. What letter is in this equation? Y. So therefore my y has to be over here too. What does y equal in the ordered pair? Negative 12. Negative 12 is all the way down here, and are those two lines parallel? Does that make sense? Let's do it again. Same thing, I'm going to redraw my line so you can see it. And this time, what do I want? I want the perpendicular. What is perpendicular to a y equals? Here's y equals. It is going to be an x equal vertical line, yes? So I want the opposite letter, and the opposite letter is what? X here, and what is the coordinate? 9. So here is x equals 9, and is that perpendicular to my horizontal line? Do you understand that? Listen very closely. There is really no work for these problems. You have to recognize it and see it and do it. These two type of problems that I just showed you are the most confusing things for my students because there's no rhyme or reason for it. You have to memorize the slope pick, and you have to apply that philosophy to it. You have to recognize that there was only one letter in the equations, and therefore there's only going to be one letter in the answers. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, now let's talk about whenever there's more than one letter in the equations. Okay, so when there's more than one letter in the equations, the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to solve for y. Then you're going to find the slope out of the equation you just solved for y. Then you're going to ask if you want the parallel or perpendicular slope according to whatever the problem says to do. And then you're going to use the new slope and the point to find the new equation by plugging in mx plus b. So let's try it. Do you notice that in this formula, I have an equation that has 2 letters in it? Yes? If I have 2 letters in my equation, where am I at on my slope pick? If I have 2 letters in my equation, where am I at on my slope pick? I'm on my mountain. Yes, I'm on my mountain. If I have y and x in there, I am on my mountain. Does that make sense? So that is not a special one. That's where you have to show a lot of work, okay? So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our given equation and we are going to solve it for y. So when I solve this for y, what do I do? Subtract 12x from both sides. I have 4y is equal to negative 12x minus 8. You good? What do I do next? Divide every single term by 4. Excellent job. And I have y is equal to negative 3x minus a 2. Now, that is solved for y. What I need out of that is my slope. What is my slope? I'm sorry? My slope is negative 3. So if that's what my slope is, I now go back to my equation and I say, okay, do I want an equation that is parallel or perpendicular? It clearly says parallel, and whenever we say parallel, parallel is same letter, same slope. So what is my parallel slope? It's still negative 3. Then I'm going to use the point, negative 2, 1. Now we do what we did before. We write down y is equal to mx plus b, and I plug in what I know. What is y? 1, what is m? What is x? And b we drop down. What is negative 3 times negative 2? Positive 6. I'm solving for the letter b, so what do? Subtract 6, and I have negative 5 is equal to b. You said wait. Now, my parallel line is going to be y is equal to my parallel slope, which is negative 3x, and my b value minus 5. That is your answer. That is your answer. Make sense? Let's do it again. You ready? Okay, same exact thing. So I take the given equation, y minus 4 is equal to negative 1/2 x minus 6, and what do I want to do with that equation? What is my goal? What am I doing? I am solving for y. So he's going to add 4 units to both sides to solve for y. So y is equal to negative 1/2 x minus 2. What do I want out of that equation? What is my slope here? Negative 1/2. Okay? Is everybody with me on that? At this point, you are going to reread the problem, and you're going to find out if it is asking for parallel or perpendicular. In this problem, it is asking for perpendicular. Yes? So what is my perpendicular slope to negative 1/2? Positive, the opposite of is a negative, is a positive. The reciprocal of 1/2 is 2. Do we all understand that? And then we are going to use the point 2, 3. So y is equal to mx plus b, and you start plugging in to find b. What is y? 3. What is m? What is x? 2 times 2? How do I get rid of the 4? Very good. So negative 1 is equal to b. So my perpendicular line is y is equal to, what does y equal? Nope. What's my perpendicular slope? My perpendicular slope is here, and we want our b value here. So that's going to be 2x minus 1. That is your answer. Yes, ma'am.
At the point, how do we get to 2?
It is given in the problem.
Oh.
It's given in the problem every time, okay? It is given in the problem. Very good question, though, okay? Does that make sense? So the only thing that is new today is finding the parallel and perpendicular slope given an equation, and then finding the equation. We ready? Everybody ready for the next one? Okay. So what do I do first? I'm sorry? Write down the equation that they give you. The equation they give you is 4x plus 2y is equal to 7. What's my goal? To solve for y here. So I'm going to subtract the 4x to solve for y. So 2y is equal to negative 4x plus 7. I'm still solving for y.
Divide everything by 2.
Great job. Divide every single term by 2. So y is equal to negative 2x plus 7 over 2. What do I need out of this equation? The slope. What is the slope out of this equation?
Negative 2.
So my slope is negative 2. Yes? Does everybody understand that? Now, I'm going to go read my problem, and my problem says to find the perpendicular line. So what is the perpendicular slope? The opposite of a negative is a positive. The reciprocal of 2 is 1/2. Then I use the point that is in the problem, and I write that down to use into y equals mx plus b. Yes?
So with the point, even if it's perpendicular, you don't have to like switch it up?
Nope, you do nothing. You just drop the point down from the directions every time. Good question. Okay, so now what do I write?
Y equals 1/2 x.
I need mx plus b. What did you say?
I'm confused. Where the shortcake then?
This?
Oh, okay.
You're talking the point?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
I
yeah.
got it.
Okay, are we good? So now y is equal to mx plus b. Yes? We good? What do I plug in?
-2.
Nope, I want my perpendicular slope. So what's my, yes, negative 2 for y. I'm sorry, I thought you wanted that one. I'm sorry. And then my slope is 1/2, and then my x is 4. Yes?
Four times 1/2.
What is half of 4? It is 2. Now what?
Subtract this.
Yep. And what is negative 2 minus 2?
-4.
Now, you need to remember that you are wanting the perpendicular line. So that's y is equal to the perpendicular slope, which is, and then the b value that you just found. Yes? Yes? Okay. I am going to do one more. How is this problem different than what I've been doing?
Two parentheses.
Find the equation of the line through the point negative 5, 6, parallel to the equations containing the points negative 5, 4, and negative 4, 0. I didn't give you an equation this time, did I? All I needed from that equation was the slope, yes?
Yeah.
So I'm going to use the 2 points that they gave us right here, and I'm going to find the slope of just those 2 points, because that's all I need.
So do you do y2 divided by x?
I do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Yes?
0 minus
So 0 minus 4.
4 over -4.
Yep. And what is a negative? What is a double negative? So negative 4 over 1 to give you what? Negative 4 is your slope. I heard it the entire time back there, but not everybody was with you. Patience is a virtue. Now, what does my equation ask of me? Do I want it to be parallel or perpendicular? Parallel. So if I want it to be parallel, I need my parallel slope. So what is my parallel slope? Now, I want you to look at the next example. They are exactly the same. The second problem asks for you to do the perpendicular. So what would be the perpendicular slope?
Positive 1 over 4.
Positive 1 over 4. Do we understand that? Yes? Now I'm going to skip over and I'm going to do the perpendicular one here because I want to show you something. Okay, so we're doing the perpendicular one now. And we are going to utilize this point. So I'm going to use the point negative 5, 6 because I already used those 2 points for the slope. Yes? I'm showing you this because there's a fraction as our slope and you need to make sure that you remember how to handle that. So I'm going to have y is equal to mx plus b. What is y? What is m? What is x? Put that negative 5 over 1 and then plus b. Multiply the tops to give you negative 5 and multiply the bottoms to give you 4. What do you not like about that problem right now?
The 4.
So what can we do to get rid of it?
Multiply everything by 4.
Multiply every single thing by 4. So 4 times 6 is? What happens whenever I multiply the negative 5 over 4 by 4?
The 4's cancel out.
And I'm left with?
Negative 5.
Plus, and then the next term? What'd you say?
4b.
Excellent job. Now what?
Add 5.
Add the 5 over to give you 29 is equal to 4b. Then what?
Divide by 4.
Divide by 4 to give you 29 over 4 is equal to b. So what is my perpendicular line? Y is equal to, what is my perpendicular slope? Yep. Great job today. Super proud of you. Let's start tonight's homework. If you look at your notes, you may find some of those examples were homework problems. If you look at your notes today while you're doing your homework, you may find that some of them were done already as homework problems. Okay? Tonight's homework is 2-4, worksheet 5, parallel and perpendicular lines. The very first one we are going to do is going to be problem number 4. Problem number 4. Are you ready? Problem 4. Okay. What time are we at here? 27. We got time. What do I do first?
Write down the equation.
I'm going to write down my equation, and what am I going to do to it?
Solve for y.
Solve it for y. So what do I do to solve that thing for y? Subtract 3x from both sides. Negative 5y is equal to negative 3x plus 6. Still solving for y?
Negative 5.
Divide every single term by negative 5. So y is equal to 3/5 x minus 6 over 5. What do I want out of that ugly equation? want my slope. So my slope is 3/5, yes? So now, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to read my problem. What do I want? So what is my perpendicular slope? -5/3, great job. Pull down that point of 12, -8. Pull down that point of 12, -8. What do I do? What do I write next? Y equals mx plus b, and y is -8, and m is?
-5/3.
And 12 is going to be my x. Put that over 1. Okay. Look diagonally. What is 12 divided by 3? Do you see that that is going to cancel out to give you a 4? So what is -5 times 4? Now, some of you are not going to be able to do that. So all you have to do is multiply them together and divide on your calculator. It'll give you that answer, okay?
Like if you type in.
If you type in, oopsie. If you type in this entire fraction times this fraction, it'll give you -20, okay? It'll give you -20. From there, what do I do next? Add the 20 over, and that is going to give you 12 is equal to b. So what is my perpendicular line? Y is equal to? I'm sorry? -5/3 x plus 12. You got to use your perpendicular slope. Yes? One thing I will say, if you are struggling, after you get your perpendicular slope, if you want to cross that slope off so that you know you don't use it again, by all means do that. So once you get your perpendicular slope, if you want to cross off that slope so that you know you're not going to use it again, do it. Okay? All right, the bell's going to ring here. What is homework tonight? And what else do you have to do?